night feels heavier lately, doesn't it? You smile when people look at you, but the moment you're alone, something inside you collapses. And maybe nobody knows how tired you truly are. Nobody sees the way you stare at the ceiling at 2 a.m. replaying conversations, reliving disappointments, wondering how much longer your heart can carry this weight. But tonight, this message found you for a reason. Because right before you were about to give up emotionally, something began shifting in the unseen parts of your life. And what happens next will not look like what you've been through. You thought your silence meant you were forgotten. You thought the tears you wiped away quickly before anyone noticed disappeared into nothing. But every moment you sat in darkness feeling emotionally abandoned, every silent breakdown in the bathroom, every exhausted drive home where you said nothing and just held your pain inside your chest, it was seen, even the nights when you couldn't pray correctly anymore because your mind was too tired and your heart felt numb. You were still being held together in ways you could not see yet. You've been trying to survive while pretending you're okay. That takes a different kind of exhaustion. Waking up already tired, responding to messages while secretly hoping someone notices your sadness hiding between the words, carrying anxiety in your stomach so constantly that peace almost feels unfamiliar now. You laugh in front of people, then sit in silence, afterward wondering why you still feel empty. And the hardest part is that you've been fighting battles nobody even knows exist. There were moments recently when you questioned your worth in silence. You looked at your life and wondered why things seem easier for everyone else. Why doors keep closing. Why the waiting season feels endless. Why you keep giving your heart to people who leave you emotionally starving afterward. And somewhere deep inside, a dangerous thought began whispering to you, maybe nothing will ever change. But that thought is not telling you the truth, because what you call delay has often been protection. What you call abandonment has sometimes been rescue. There are things you cried for months ago that would have destroyed your peace if they had stayed. There are people you begged to keep who would have slowly broken your spirit. And even though losing them hurt deeply, even though it felt like your chest physically ached at night remembering them, there was a reason your path had to separate from what could not carry your future. You keep asking why this season has been so painful, why your prayers seemed unanswered, why your heart feels worn thin. But pain has a way of revealing what comfort keeps hidden. In this lonely season, you discovered how strong you truly are. You discovered how deeply you can feel. How much love you still carry despite disappointment. How you continue showing kindness even after life has been unkind to you. And that matters more than you realize. There were nights you sat with your phone in your hand hoping for a message that never came. Nights where disappointment wrapped around your chest so tightly you could barely breathe. You checked the screen again and again pretending you didn't care, but inside you were quietly breaking. You wanted reassurance. You wanted someone to choose you fully. You wanted to stop feeling replaceable. Yet every unanswered silence slowly convinced you that maybe your presence wasn't enough. But hear this carefully tonight. Your value was never determined by who failed to recognize your heart. Some people encountered your love while they were too emotionally immature to handle something genuine. Some people benefited from your loyalty while never intending to protect your feelings in return. And instead of appreciating your softness, they took comfort from it while leaving you emotionally depleted afterward. That betrayal changed something inside you. Now you overthink everything. Now you fear attachment. Now you prepare yourself for disappointment before happiness even fully arrives. And still, despite all of it, your heart has not become cruel. That is beautiful. You've cried quietly because you didn't want to burden anyone. You've carried emotional pain while still helping other people smile. You've been there for others while secretly wishing someone would ask if you were okay too. And sometimes the loneliness became unbearable because you realized how many people only knew the version of you that looks strong. But strength is not the absence of pain. Strength is answering another day while your soul feels exhausted. Strength is continuing forward when your emotions are collapsing internally. Strength is surviving seasons that almost destroyed your confidence. And you have survived more than you give yourself credit for. There is a reason your spirit has felt restless lately. A reason you felt emotional shifts you cannot fully explain. reason certain connections suddenly faded, a reason old habits no longer satisfy you. Something is changing within you before it changes around you. The version of you that spent years begging for bare minimum love is slowly disappearing. The version of you that tolerated disrespect just to avoid loneliness is dying off quietly. And although transformation feels uncomfortable, it is preparing you for the life your wounded self could never sustain. You are not being punished. You are being rebuilt. And rebuilding often feels lonely before it becomes beautiful. There are moments you sit in silence wondering if your best days are already behind you, wondering if healing will ever truly happen, wondering if your mind will ever stop racing long enough for you to rest emotionally. Because lately even sleep has not felt peaceful. Your body lies down, but your thoughts continue running. You replay old memories, old mistakes, old heartbreaks, conversations you wish ended differently. Things you should have said, things you regret saying at all, and exhaustion has become your normal. But this season will not last forever. One day soon you will notice that your breathing feels lighter. Music will sound beautiful again. Food will taste different again. You'll wake up one morning without immediately feeling dread inside your chest, and you won't even realize healing has started because it arrives quietly at first, like sunlight slowly entering a dark room. You keep expecting healing to happen all at once, but most healing happens gently, slowly, invisibly, one peaceful moment at a time. There is someone listening right now who feels emotionally numb from carrying too much for too long. You've become so used to disappointment that hope itself feels dangerous. You guard your heart now. You hesitate before trusting anyone. Even when people care about you, part of you expects them to leave eventually. Because abandonment changed the way you love, but not everyone who enters your life is sent to wound you. Some people will arrive gently. Some people will speak to your soul instead of your insecurity. Some people will stay consistently instead of disappearing when things become inconvenient. And when those people arrive, you will realize how exhausting it was to beg for effort from those who never intended to love you properly. Right now, though, your focus cannot remain on who left. Your healing matters too much for that. You have spent so much time mourning what broke your heart that you forgot to notice what survived. Your kindness survived. Your compassion survived. Your ability to love survived. Even after everything, you are still capable of tenderness. That is not weakness. That is evidence that darkness did not harden you completely. And that matters. Because many people become cold after heartbreak. Many people become bitter after betrayal. Many people decide to stop caring altogether. But you, despite your tears, despite your loneliness, despite your exhaustion, you still want genuine love. You still want peace. You still want meaning. That quiet hope inside you is proof that your story is not over. The waiting season has been painful because you thought nothing was happening. But unseen things have been moving. Certain delays protected your future. Certain endings redirected your path. Certain heartbreaks awakened parts of your spirit that comfort never could. And even though you cannot fully understand this season yet, one day, you will look back and realize that what nearly broke you actually redirected your entire life towards something better. You are closer to breakthrough than you think. That is why the pressure intensified recently. That is why your emotions became heavier. Right before dawn, the night often feels longest. Right before healing arrives, exhaustion often becomes overwhelming. Right before life changes, everything can feel uncertain and unstable. But uncertainty does not mean abandonment. Something beautiful is growing quietly beneath the surface of your pain. And no, you are not too late. You have not ruined your future because of past mistakes. You have not been forgotten because life became difficult. You are not permanently damaged because heartbreak changed you. The parts of you that feel broken are still worthy of love, rest, purpose, and joy. Stop speaking to yourself as if you are beyond repair. Stop treating your own heart like something disposable. You deserve gentleness too. Tonight, release the pressure to have everything figured out immediately. Release the fear that you are falling behind everyone else. Social media made you believe your life must move faster. But healing has its own timing, growth has its own rhythm, and comparison has stolen enough peace from you already. Breathe again. Not every unanswered question means disaster. Not every delay means denial. Not every closed door means failure. Sometimes your life is being rearranged in ways your current perspective cannot yet understand. And yes, I know you are tired. Tired of pretending. Tired of waiting. Tired of carrying invisible pain. Tired of acting strong for everyone else. Tired of hoping. Tired of healing slowly. Tired of nights that feel emotionally endless. But please do not give up in this chapter of your story, because there are still moments your future self is begging you to survive long enough to see. There are still hugs you haven't felt yet, still peace you haven't experienced yet, still laughter waiting to return to your life, still purpose hidden inside your pain, still beautiful mornings ahead of you, still people who will love you correctly, still breakthroughs moving toward you quietly. And one day, the tears you cry now will make sense in a way they never could during the storm itself. You have spent so much energy surviving emotionally that you forgot what it feels like to simply rest, to exist without panic, to sit quietly without overthinking every possible outcome. But peace is returning to your life step by step, not fake peace, not temporary distraction, real peace. The kind that reaches deep into your spirit and reminds you that you no longer have to live in constant emotional survival mode. The heavy feeling will not own you forever. The anxiety will not define you forever. The loneliness will not follow you forever. There is restoration coming into places inside you that nobody else can even see. And when it finally arrives, it will not just change your circumstances, it will change the way you see yourself. You will stop begging to be chosen by people who cannot value your heart. You will stop shrinking yourself to make others comfortable. You will stop apologizing for feeling deeply. You will stop carrying guilt for needing reassurance and love, because your emotional needs were never the problem. The problem was trying to receive nourishment from emotionally unavailable places, and now your soul is learning the difference. You are entering a season where clarity will replace confusion, where peace will replace chaos, where emotional stability will slowly replace constant inner panic. But first, you must stop believing that your current pain is your permanent identity. It is not. This chapter is not the whole story. You are allowed to heal, allowed to rest, allowed to begin again, allowed to believe good things can still happen to you after disappointment, allowed to trust that your life still carries meaning even after seasons of heartbreak. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. You are not alone tonight. Even in this moment, while tears sit quietly in your eyes, while your chest feels heavy, while your thoughts continue racing, you are being carried through this season more gently than you realize. And maybe this message reached you at the exact moment you needed someone to remind you that your life still matters, that your presence matters, that your heart matters, that your future still exists beyond this pain. So tonight, stop fighting yourself for a moment. Stop replaying every mistake. Stop punishing yourself for not healing faster. You have been through more emotionally than most people know. Speak to yourself with the same gentleness you offer everyone else. You deserve that too. And before you sleep tonight, let this settle deep into your spirit. What broke you will not have the final word. What abandoned you will not define your worth. What delayed you will not stop your destiny. What exhausted you will not destroy your future. You survived every painful night before this one. And somehow, despite everything, your heart is still beating with hope underneath all the exhaustion. That hope is there for a reason. Your story is still unfolding. Your breakthrough is still approaching. Your healing is still happening quietly beneath the surface. And one day, very soon, you will look back at this painful season and realize you were never alone in it. If this message spoke directly to your heart tonight, comment Amen below. Subscribe if you want more messages like this for your healing journey. And share this with someone who has been silently carrying pain alone, because they may need this reminder more than they know.